Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. And in today's show, we are going to be looking at why it's important to have a blog, how to lay out your blog, and how you can repurpose your blog to make it work for you. So let's jump in. Before we jump into today's episode, I have a brand new quiz available. I would love you to go over and take it. It is at spwv.co.uk/quiz. And this quiz is going to help you identify where you are on your client attraction journey. One of the biggest questions I get, and one of the things that vendors find the most difficult, is how do I get more clients? How do I attract more clients to me? How do I get them booked? This quiz is going to take you through just four questions that are going to help you to understand where you are on your client attraction journey and what to do next. So go ahead, take the quiz. It'll take you less than a minute. It is at spwv.co.uk/quiz. So I talk about weekly content a lot, and that is because we all need something if we are running a business to be able to talk about something that we can talk about on a regular basis. By having weekly content, this gives us something we can talk about on a regular basis. So I talk about weekly content. I say weekly, especially in the wedding industry, because although I have said previously, consistency is key. And as long as you can do it consistently, then that's better than doing something inconsistently. In the wedding industry, we've got a finite amount of time to create that KLT factor. And when I say KLT, I mean that know, like, and trust factor. We have a finite amount of time when it comes to our couples. I have heard people in the online world say that there have been students, customers, clients that have been on their email list for years before they ever purchased a thing. And that's great for them. And, they've got the time to do that nurturing, that time to make that connection with people and for them to get that KLT. But in the wedding industry, we don't have that much time. We are working with couples that are usually planning their weddings within the next 24 months. And usually they're coming to you around the start, might be up to 6 months into their planning process, might be just after they've got engaged, but it gives you a very limited amount of time to connect with them. So if you are creating weekly content that they can come and see and get value from, that is going to put you ahead of the game compared to somebody who perhaps only puts out content once a month. So that is why I say weekly content for us in the wedding industry. And the reason I say blog and why we're going to be talking about blogs today is because they are the easiest form of content to create. Now, if you have difficulties writing, you might not feel that, but I am going to talk a little bit about how you might be able to overcome that. But when you think about the other types of content we're looking at when we're looking at weekly content, a podcast is weekly content, but that you have to plan it, then you have to record it, then you have to edit it, then you have to upload it and send it out to the different areas and promote it. With a YouTube channel, again, you have to plan it, you have to record it, you have to edit it, then you have to promote it. With a blog post, you write it, you might go back and edit it a little bit, but let's face it, I don't know about you, but when I'm editing blog posts, I'm editing as I go. It's one of those things that writers tell you not to do, write it and then go back and edit it, but I am notorious for editing as I go along. So the likelihood is you're not going to have much editing to do when you are writing a blog post, certainly not to the degree that you might have to edit a video or edit a podcast. So having a blog post is just the simplest form of content. It gets to the heart of it. It's great for Google and SEO. If you do a podcast or a video, it's much harder to get those to rank on your SEO keywords and things like that. So you have to then still do some form of writing to try and get those keywords in there. So a blog post is the easiest option for us when it comes to creating our content. Now, when we're looking at the layout of a blog post, I'm particularly looking at the layout today in terms of how we can make our content last us. And it's so funny that actually today I'm recording this podcast was a day that I was at a networking meeting where we were talking about social media and creating content and how we can create content. So this fits right in with that. So when you're looking at laying out a blog post, you need to get your hook, the thing that is going to entice your potential clients to read that blog post. So what questions are they asking? What do they want to know? Not what they need to know. What do they want to know? Because they don't know what they need. People who are planning a wedding have never planned it before. You don't know what you don't know. And they don't need you telling them, you need to do this, you need to do that. They want to know what they want to know. And within that, you can then tell them what they need to know. So get that hook, get that tasty hook at the start with the title of your blog, and the introduction should tell them what it's going to be about. So there was a quote that said, and I can't remember, I think it was Jim Rohn. Can't remember. I will put it in the show notes because I will look it up. I was meant to look it up before I started recording, but it said, tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you told them. And that should be the layout of your blog post. So in the introduction, just like I did at the top of this podcast, you say, in today's podcast, in today's blog, we're going to be looking at, and give them the information that they're going to be looking at. Then you need to hit those points of what you said in that introduction. So I suggest 3 teaching points in a blog post. So if you are answering a question, why should I have a 3-tier wedding cake? You can then take 3 points of why a 3-tier wedding cake is a good option, and you can talk about those. So you can say you get to have 3 different flavors, which means that you're going to meet different people's flavor requirements for a cake. It means that you're going to be able to feed this many people, and you can go in and expand on it and say, if you have 150 people, you would need this many tiers. If you had 300 people, this many tiers. If you only had 100 people, then actually this many tiers. But you can have fake tiers that can make it up to a 3-tier cake, so you've got that look. And you can go into more depth, and you don't have to just stick to that, but you can elaborate on that point. And then you have your 3rd point. And then again, at the end, you summarize what it is that you've told them. This gives you a really good structure to work from and makes it a lot easier to write your blog posts. But the other thing is it gives you further content. So now you have your blog post written, you've put it up on your website. How do we then make it work for us? Well, I've been speaking a lot and researching a lot lately on how many times you should be posting on social media each week and what that looks like. And a lot of times people are struggling to find things to post. What can I post? I don't know what to post. And you don't have to post fluff. And it's actually can be damaging if you're just posting fluff. So if you're just posting for the sake of posting, don't do it. With your blog post, you can actually create a week's worth of posts out of that blog post. So the day you upload it onto your website, you do a post saying that you've got a new blog post up. It's talking about 3 reasons why you should go for a 3-tier wedding cake. Hit the link in the description, hit the link in bio, and go and read this blog. Then you have 3 days where you can hit on those points that you made. So, if the first point was, the flavors, then you can say, did you know that by having a 3-tier wedding cake, you can have 3 different flavors? So if you've got people that are chocolate lovers, but then you've got people that hate chocolate, you're going to be able to satisfy both those flavor needs by having different tiers in different flavors. Head over to my blog to find out what flavors go well together and what you might consider for your wedding day. and send them to the blog. The next day, again, did you know that a 3-tier wedding cake is great if you have this many number of guests? It will feed everybody a slice of cake. But if you've got more guests, my blog talks about what size tiers will work best for you. So head over to the blog. Day 3, whatever your third point is, and that's 4 days right there. You have done 4 social media posts. And then on the 5th day, you say, hey guys, I did a blog on why having a 3-tier wedding cake is great for your wedding. Did you check it out? If not, go to the link. And so you have just done 5 posts. They were all relevant. They were all informative. And they all lead to that one piece of content. And that's the idea, is to get people on your website. Now, the important thing is, obviously, at the bottom of that blog post is to have a, hey, if you want more tips on why, about wedding cakes, then sign up to my newsletter and I will send you weekly tips on what to look out for and how you can make the best use of cake in your wedding. And then they sign up to your email list, hopefully. But by providing that content, even if they don't sign up to your list, the likelihood is they're going to be following you on social. And if they found it interesting, they will come back and they will read again and again. And you are able to then build that know, like, and trust factor with your potential customers. So 5 posts, that's Monday to Friday. Do you post at the weekend? You can do. I mean, I think Saturday is a really good day to post for wedding vendors, because obviously couples are not working on Saturdays. They've got more time to do a bit of research. They're likely to be doing that research on a Saturday. So I would say definitely post on a Saturday. You might decide that you don't post on Tuesdays or you don't post on Thursdays, but try and be consistent with the days that you upload your content. You don't have to post something every day. I've just shown you how one piece of content can give you 5 posts. Now you can do that all in one week. You can interlink those 5 posts with having a couple of other posts in there. So you might have a call to action post that talks about your services and why people should book a call with you. And you might have one that gives them a little bit of a behind the scenes look at what you do in your everyday work life. And that is your week's worth of posting right there. Don't get bogged down with trying to think up new things all the time or trying to do something totally different every day, because not everybody sees your posts. I say this all the time, but not everybody sees everything you post. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't post about the same blog post for a whole week, why not? Why not? It's new, it's informative, it's got information for people, and you can show them the value that you can give to them in your trade, in what it is that you do. So don't feel like every day has to be something different. You can certainly talk about things that you've already done, pull out those points and talk about that particular thing. So they get a little hit of a tip on the day, on the social media post, right where they are. If they want more, they can go to your website. The next day you give them another tip. They might not have seen the one the day before, so they've got that tip, but they don't know the one from yesterday. So you've always got this opportunity to keep calling them back to your content by doing that. So I think that sometimes we can get overwhelmed with social media and we can think it's just too much. But if you've got your blog posts planned, then you can set that up in advance. You can do it in later, do it in Canva, wherever it is that you schedule your posts, you can schedule them out the week before to go live with your blog post on a Monday or a Thursday, whenever it is your blog posts go up. So that is why I think blog posts are so important to your business and how you can make them work for you. Don't forget that your blog, you can actually add in real life weddings as well. So it doesn't have to always be these answering questions or informative blogs. Add in your real weddings, talk about it. So I'm using cakes today as my example. If you have a real wedding that you have done, then share the pictures of that cake take pictures as you are creating the cake, so different stages of the cake, because you can then use these in your blog post and you can use them on your social media. And then get the pictures of the cake in situ on the wedding day, which you can normally do yourself. If you're taking it to set it up, you can take that picture yourself. You might have to wait for some official photos, or you might want to wait for some official photos. But once you've got them, you can then create a blog post that talks about Sarah and John's wedding day and how wonderful it was to be involved, the type of cake they had, why they chose what they chose, how it fit in with the overall theme of the day. Brides and grooms love to read about other people's weddings, so that will draw them to your website as well. So it doesn't always have to be the information, and you can feed those through into your blog as well for some variety. So today we've looked at how and why you would want to blog, how you should structure it, and we have pulled it apart for your social media so that you have got content as well. So I will do another episode on batching and tools, but one of the things I did want to mention quickly is if you do struggle with the written word, then you can use tools such as Otter AI, which is a speech to text service. So you could speak your blog and it will write it out for you, and then you can just adjust any words that didn't quite pick up or edit it slightly so that you can still get your blog done without having to sit there and type it out yourself, if typing or writing words is difficult for you. But I will do a blog post, I will do a podcast on batching and tools coming up later, so you can see that it doesn't take much time to actually set all this up as you might think. So that's it for today, guys. I hope that helps you with your content creation, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.